Welcome to our low back and hamstring focused Hatha class today. We will start in a comfortable seat, lifting the hips on some sort of prop, a pillow, a folded blanket, a block or a bolster. And taking a moment to adjust in any way that you need to until your seat is comfortable. And then when you're ready, allowing the eyes to close or softening the gaze towards the floor in front of you. And we'll begin just by taking some time here in stillness to become aware of the present moment, of whatever your present experience is. First, becoming aware of any sounds coming from within the space or through the walls from outside. Notice the louder sounds and the softer sounds, and even the ones that you can barely hear. And then we'll begin to shift that awareness to any sensations on the skin. So noticing the temperature of the air, the textures of anything that you're in contact with. Notice the sensation of pressure of your seat against the floor, maybe your hands relaxed onto your lap or your thighs. And then we'll begin to shift that awareness a little bit deeper into the body, starting to scan through the body, starting at the crown of the head and working your way very slowly towards the toes. As you scan through the body, just start to notice any areas of tension, anywhere the body seems to be holding on to something. No need to try and change that. And just send your awareness there. And then as you scan through the body, also notice any spaces where you feel relaxed, or notice a sense of spaciousness or openness in the body. And once you've scanned your way all the way down to the toes, shift your awareness into your mind, starting to notice the thoughts that arise. Notice if there's any particular emotions that are attached to your thoughts. Notice the frequency of different thoughts that may arise. And again, we're not necessarily trying to change anything. We're simply noticing the present experience with a sense of curiosity instead of judgment. And then let's set those thoughts aside for now, guiding the awareness instead to the flow of your breath. If you like to experience the breath in a more physical way, feel free to take one hand to the upper chest and one hand to the belly, starting to feel the way that the breath gently changes the shape of the body as it flows in and out through the nose. And let's begin to gently deepen the breath. With each inhale, invite just a little bit more space and openness into the body, creating space for creativity and positivity. And with each exhale, feel yourself softening and grounding into the earth, feeling the support of your foundation below you. If it's in your practice, you can start to invite in that Ujjayi breath, gently creating that sound like the ocean as you intentionally draw the breath down the back of the throat. When you're ready, release the hands back to the lap if they were up on the chest and belly. And then from here, either allow the eyes to open, or you may find that you're still wanting to keep them closed. You can adjust the seat as needed if the legs have started to fall asleep or become uncomfortable. And we're just going to start to gently move the upper body around in a circle in one direction. The circle can be big or small. Maybe it starts small and starts to grow. Or if you have a lot of energy, maybe it starts really big and then starts to grow smaller as it becomes a little bit more refined. Just take the time here to move in whatever way you need to in this circle. Maybe the head flops along or the shoulders round as you come forward. Take this time to really feel how the body responds to movement. After the next exhale, we'll start to reverse direction with your circle. Maybe the other direction feels a little bit different and maybe it starts to look a little bit different. That's fine, just go with the flow. Listening to the body, picking up that information that it has for you as you begin to move. And slowly and gently start to make your way back towards stillness. If the eyes are still closed, let them gently blink open. All right, let's take the left leg and extend it out to the side, keeping that right foot in towards the inner thigh. And we're going to start to build a little flow here. As with any of the movements that we come through in this practice, feel free to make them more subtle or make them bigger depending on how the body feels and what it needs in the moment. So on the next inhale, we're going to reach up through the crown of the head, finding length in the spine. Then we're going to take a gentle twist to face that extended leg and start to fold forward with the exhale. And then the inhale is going to take us right back up. We're going to place the right hand behind the right hip and inhale to lift that left arm. Maybe the left hip lifts as well. Again, taking whatever variation you need. On the exhale, we work into that forward fold. Flowing with your breath, using that inhale to bring you up into that extension, taking it as far as you'd like. And using the exhale to come forward into that gentle forward fold. And just take the time as you move to notice how you feel. If you find that there's a space where you need to pause or a slightly different shape that the body needs to make, feel free to invite those variations into your practice. This is your time. Next time we come into that forward fold, we're going to pause here for a few rounds of breath. Think about energetically sending that right hip, the one of the bended leg, down into the floor, creating a little more space along the right side of the lower back. Softening the heart towards your extended leg, and remembering to connect to your breath, using the inhale to create gentle space, and the exhale to soften you into the forward fold. With the next inhale, use the hands to gently press your way back up to seated. And we're going to switch sides. So we're going to extend the right leg and take the left foot to the inner thigh. We'll start by inhaling some extension into the spine, reaching up through the crown of the head. Exhale is a gentle twist towards that extended leg and fold. And then again, beginning to flow with the breath, using the inhale to rise, placing the left hand behind the left hip, reaching that right arm up, and taking whatever variation here serves you on this side. Using the exhale to fold and the inhale to rise for extension. If this side looks different, that's fine. We are not symmetrical beings most of the time. So just notice if this side manifests or feels any different than the first side did. Beautiful breath. We'll take one more flow through the inhale. And then next time you find that forward fold, we'll spend a few rounds of breath here. Remember, you can always bend that extended knee. Breathe softness into the body as you soften the heart towards your extended leg, pressing energetically down through that left hip into the floor, creating more space along the left side of the lower back. With the next inhale, slowly rise, pressing your way up. And we'll bring the soles of the feet to touch for a bound angle. If you know that this pose causes some discomfort or pain in your knees, then feel free to find supports underneath the knees or change the distance that your feet are from your hips until you no longer feel that discomfort. And then with the next inhale, we're going to reach up through the crown of the head, finding that link through the spine. And we're going to start to fold with as flat a back as you can. You may only come forward an inch or two, maybe not even that much. But just notice how it changes the sensation through the area of the hips. Stay connected to the breath, keeping as much length in the spine up through the crown of the head as you can, as you lead with the heart. One more inhale here. And then on the exhale, allow the spine to round as you come all the way into this forward fold. Relaxing into the breath here. Imagining with each inhale that you're creating more space in the body. And with each exhale, you soften into that space you have created for yourself. Gently scan through the body. Notice if you're holding tension anywhere. Notice if there's any tension in the neck, as if you want to lift the head. See if you can soften and relax the head towards the floor. Soften and relax the shoulders. Soften and relax the hips and the legs. Notice if your mind starts to wander off here. And if it does, that's fine. Just notice where it wanders to. What sorts of things come up? And if it wanders somewhere that you don't want to be right now, then gently guide the awareness back to the breath. With the next inhale, use your hands to slowly press yourself up. And then use those hands to scoop the knees, lifting them up, separating the feet out towards the edges of your mat, supporting with your hands behind you. Allow the knees to fall towards one another, or windshield wiper the knees from side to side, whichever version feels better for your hips. Getting a nice little release here. And from here, making your way to stillness. And then let's come into a child's pose. Take the time to set a folded blanket under the knees if you have any knee sensitivity, or just like an extra bit of cushioning. And with this first child's pose, feel free to keep the knees closer together or further apart, whichever feels best for your hips and low back. And soften into the breath once again. Relaxing the shoulders, gently scanning through the body, softening and releasing any tension that is ready to be let go. Let's bring the awareness to the base of the skull, the very top of the spine. And then imagine that you are very tiny and that you are walking along your back down the length of your spine, across each individual vertebrae. And just notice as you take this little walk down your spine towards the tailbone. Notice where the spine and the muscles along either side of the spine are holding tension. Notice any spaces of discomfort. Any spaces that feel a little bit off center or off balance. Most of us have some imbalances. Like I said, we are not symmetrical beings. So we'll just take a few moments here to notice the length of the spine. With the next inhale, reach the arms out straight on your mat until the elbows lift. So we're going to start to bring a little energy into the arms, spreading the fingers nice and wide. And then gently press the hands into the mat, starting to feel the side bodies engage. The low belly gently draws in and up towards the spine. So we're activating this child's pose, getting prepared for movement. And just take time here to feel what engages. Notice the whole body. And then with the next inhale, use the hands to pull yourself all the way forward into tabletop. Taking a moment here to set up your foundation, adjusting the knees so that they're right about under the hips. Fingers are spread nice and wide and all the knuckles of the hands are gently pressing into the mat. It's often times that we find our thumb and forefinger starting to lift up off of the mat here, so make sure that those are strongly connected downward. And then we're going to start to move in a big circle here, shifting to one side as you send the hips back and down towards the heels, and then inhaling forward in the other direction to create your circle. Again, just like the circle, our seated circle that we started class with, feel free to find any gentle variations here that feel good. Maybe an extra sassy swing of the hips, or a little shoulder rolls. Maybe the head kind of lolls along with your circle to get a little release in the neck. And just notice whatever there is to notice in the body, whatever feedback you get. After the next exhale, we'll start to reverse directions with the circle. And again, these movements can be as big or as tiny as you need them to be. They can be as fast or as slow as you need them to be. We're just getting to know our bodies right now, seeing what they have to offer us today. It changes every day. Next time the hips soften back towards the heels, let's pause there in child's pose, finding stillness. If the wrists are feeling it, maybe take the hands in some circles, massaging the wrists, or relax the arms by your sides if you're starting to feel tension build in the shoulders. And then we're going to take the knees a little bit wider here in this child's pose. So adjust the knees apart from each other until you start to feel some sensation through the hips, maybe the inner or outer thighs. Will be different for everybody, so there is no correct distance here. Just take a moment to feel and notice sensations and create your pose according to what your body is needing right now. Softening the heart towards the floor. If you'd like to, bend the elbows and bring the hands behind the head for a little extra upper body openness here. That can feel really nice. With the next inhale, let's bring the hands back to the mat. Again, activating your child's pose so the arms become nice and long, low belly draws in, and the side bodies start to engage. With an inhale, pull yourself forward to tabletop, readjusting the knees so that they're back underneath the hips. Then we're going to create a little flow here through downward dog. So we're going to curl the toes under and lift the knees, sending the tailbone up and back, keeping the knees as soft as they need to be for this first downward dog, finding any gentle movements here that feel good, maybe a little walk of the dog, bending one knee and then the other, or gently swaying the hips from side to side. Make sure that the hands are firmly pressing down into the mat through all the knuckles. And then from here, we'll begin to flow. Feel free to take an extra breath in any section of this flow or rest when you need to. So with an inhale, we'll take the knees to the mat for tabletop. With an exhale, we'll sink the hips back to child's pose. With the next inhale, come forward to tabletop. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale to tabletop, knees come to the mat. Exhale to child's pose. Let's go through one more. Inhale, tabletop. Exhale, downward dog. Inhale, tabletop, and exhale, child's pose. Take an extra breath here. And then with the next inhale, come back forward to tabletop. All right, we're going to extend that right leg straight back, but keep the toes on the floor to start. And then reach out through that right heel. Pressing into the hands, sending that energy down the back of the leg. So we're working on creating some stretching and openness through the calf and maybe the hamstring of that right leg. And then with an inhale, we're going to lift that leg, keeping the hips generally facing towards the floor. And then we're going to start to move that leg from side to side. So on the inhale, it's going to come out to the right. And then as you exhale, it's going to cross the left leg. Maybe the toes tap the floor. Inhale out to the right. And exhale across the body. Maybe it taps the floor. Let's do 3 more on your breath cycle. Keeping that low belly drawn in and up for support. And then next time that leg crosses and comes to the floor, we're going to pause here, maybe looking over your left shoulder back at that right foot. Breathing into the area of the hips, just noticing whatever sensations arise. With the next inhale, lifting the foot back to neutral and exhaling to release that knee to the floor. Taking a little break here, either finding child's pose or downward dog, whichever suits your current energy level better. And just take a moment to notice the area of the hips and the low back. When we've worked one side in this pose, but not yet the other side. With the next inhale, make your way forward to tabletop. And we're going to work through that on the other side. So extending the left leg back, keeping the toes on the floor to start. Sending all that energy out through the left heel as you press the hands into the mat. Breathing openness into the back of the leg. And remembering to gently draw that low belly in and up towards the spine so that we're not releasing pressure into the lower back. With an inhale, lift the leg. We're going to start that flow by inhaling it out to the left. And then exhaling it across the body, the toes might touch the floor. 4 more on your breath. Beautiful, strong breath, steady movement. After the 5th one, when those toes connect to the floor, we'll pause there for a few rounds of breath. Maybe looking over the right shoulder, back at that left foot. Breathing into the side body, allowing that left rib cage to expand on the inhale. And with the next inhale, releasing that foot back to neutral and exhaling the knee to the mat. Finding either downward dog or child's pose to release and relax. Taking time to notice the area of the hips and lower back. With the next exhale, if you're in child's pose, make your way to downward dog. And then from here, we're going to walk the feet forward to the hands, transitioning into a standing forward fold. Once you arrive, allow the head to hang heavy towards the floor. Option to take ragdoll here, bringing opposite hands to elbows. Just allowing everything to soften and melt towards the floor. The knees are as bent as they need to be so that you start to feel some space opening up in the lower back and along the spine. Gentle sways from side to side are welcome here. Maybe you slowly nod the head yes and no to release the neck. And then making your way to stillness, if you've chosen some movement, we'll release the hands from the elbows and inhale to come up halfway, lengthening the spine. Knees stay soft. Exhale to fold. Let's do 2 more like that. Nice and mindful. Inhale, find that extension to halfway. Exhale, soften and fold. 1 more. Inhale to lengthen. And exhale to fold. And then on the next inhale, as you ground through the feet, let's reach the arms out and up, coming all the way to standing, lifting the arms and the heart. And exhale, hands to heart center. And then relax the arms by your sides, letting the eyes close or softening the gaze to the floor in front of you. We're going to take a moment to settle into this new orientation of standing, becoming aware of our new foundation across the soles of the feet. So take a moment first to notice the orientation of your feet below your knees and your hips, and adjust as needed until the knees and hips feel comfortably supported. And then bring your awareness into the soles of the feet, grounding down through the big toe mounds, the pinky toe mounds, and the center of each heel. Gently swaying the weight around across those 3 corners of each foot until you find that perfect space of balance. When you're ready, allow the eyes to open. And we're going to begin to move through our flowing dynamic Tadasana. So on the inhale, you'll lift the heels as you lift the arms. And on the exhale, you'll lower the heels as you lower the arms, going at whatever pace your breath sets for you. Finding one spot on the floor in front of you or the wall in front of you to look at to support your balance. Or if you need a little extra balancing challenge today, as you inhale to rise, tip the head, bringing the gaze up towards the ceiling. And as you exhale, tip the head down, bringing the gaze towards the floor. And if you fall over, just laugh about it and get back up. No worries. This is how we learn to build resilience. Using that breath, if you start to feel a wobble, imagine drawing the inner thighs towards one another energetically as if you were squeezing a block. They don't need to touch one another. It's just a muscular engagement that helps lift the pelvic floor and engage the core body, which is the center of our balancing stability. Next time, arms and heels lower to the mat. Pause there for a breath. Notice those calf muscles. Adjust the soles of the feet a little bit if needed. We're going to come up one more time and we're going to spend a few breaths at the top. So with your next inhale, lift the arms, lift the heels. Once you reach the top, pause here. Exhale, relax the shoulders down the back. Stay connected with your breath. Pressing down through the big toes, engaging those inner thighs and low belly. Imagine yourself growing longer and taller up out of the earth. building warmth, building energy in the body. One more full inhale here. Exhale, slowly lower back down. Beautiful. Keeping the heels on the mat. Inhale, reach the arms out and up. Lift the heart, maybe lift the gaze. And exhale, come into a forward fold. Knees are soft. We'll spend a few rounds of breath here. This time we're going to bend the knees enough so that you can reach your peace fingers around your big toes. And then bend the elbows out to the side, hugging the heart down towards the floor. If you start to topple, just smile and giggle about it. Staying connected to the breath. Each inhale creates space in the body. Each exhale connects you into your foundation. The more you press down through your feet, the more space you have to fold forward. Beautiful full breath. And then releasing the hands from the toes. With the next inhale, rise halfway, lengthening the spine. Exhale, fold. Two more like that. Inhale halfway to lengthen. Exhale, fold. One more. Inhale halfway to lengthen. Exhale, fold. And then grounding down through the soles of the feet. Inhale, reach and rise as you come to standing, lifting the heart, lifting the hands. And exhale those hands to heart center. All right, we're going to take a couple steps back on the mat. You can remove your props off to the side if you have them. Make sure you've got at least 2/3 of your mat in front of you. And then take a moment to realign your feet. Connect to those 3 corners on the soles of each foot, finding a nice standing distance. And then we're going to turn those right toes out at a slight angle and take a comfortable but fairly large step forward with the left foot, making sure that when you step forward, you don't end up on a proverbial tight wire with your front foot in front of your back foot. So you want some space from left to right that honors the width of your hips. And then we're going to press into the back heel to gently shift that right hip forward so that both of the hips are pretty much facing towards the front of your space. Good. And then we're going to take an inhale and bend that front knee right over the front ankle. If it comes super far, then scoot your foot forward, widening the base of your stance. Exhale, release, straightening that front leg. Inhale, bend. Exhale, release. One more. Inhale, bend. Exhale, release. And then we'll inhale forward into that lunge, pausing here. Keeping that strong foundation, make sure you haven't lost that connection through the soles of both feet. The hips are working to face forward. And then we're going to inhale, reaching the arms up. Breathing here, soften the shoulders down the back, lift the heart. Check in with your foundation. Have you lost that connection through the soles of both feet? Press down through the soles of both feet, feeling that energy lift up through the low belly, through the heart, and through the crown of the head. With the next exhale, let's release the arms down behind the low back, bringing the hands to clasp one another. So we've got the fingers interlaced. Inhale, lift the heart, finding a gentle front body extension. And then exhale, we're going to fold forward into our humbled warrior. The foundation doesn't change much. You may notice that because we've moved all our weight forward, most of your weight starts to shift into that front foot. See if you can keep some strong connection down through the back foot as well. And connect to the breath. Let the shoulders relax. You can let the head hang towards the floor if it's comfortable for the neck. Keeping that strong foundation through the soles of both feet. With the inhale, begin to rise. Use the core. And then we'll release the hands, straightening that front leg, bringing the hands to hips. Inhale, reach up through the crown of the head. And then keeping the spine as long and flat as possible, we're going to start to fold forward. This may mean that you don't come very far, and that's okay. We're looking for sensation in the legs, in the hips. Stay connected to the breath. Stay connected to the sole of that back foot. And then you have the choice to either stay in this variation, or if you're ready to, you can start to round the spine forward. Keep that connection through the back foot so that your hip doesn't start to fly out to the side. You can take whatever variation with the arms serves you, bringing the hands to blocks, to the leg, or behind the back if that works for your shoulders. With the next inhale, let's step that back foot forward, coming into a standing forward fold, letting the shoulders and head relax towards the floor. And we'll come up just one time, one halfway this time. So inhale halfway for that extension. Exhale to fold. And then we'll inhale to rise, pressing into the soles of the feet, reaching the arms out and up, and exhaling the hands to heart center. Let's take a couple steps back on the mat to work the other side. So first, just making sure you have that nice foundation under the soles of your feet, and then we'll turn those left toes out slightly, this time stepping the right foot forward. Making that nice, comfortable foundation with some space between the feet from left to right. Pressing into the back heel to shift that left hip forward. And then let's inhale into the lunge, bringing the knee over the ankle. Exhale, release. Inhale, lunge. Exhale, release. Inhale, lunge. Exhale, release. And then we'll inhale to lunge, staying here. Keeping that connection through your foundation. Inhale to reach the arms up. Softening the shoulders down the back. Pressing firmly into your foundation to lift up from the pelvic floor, from the low belly, sending all of that energy up through the heart and up through the crown of the head. Maybe the spine gently arcs. Find the breath. Find your power here, your fire. One more inhale, and then exhale, keeping the legs the same. Reach the arms down behind the lower back, finding an opposite grip this time, so that the other thumb is on top and your hands feel super weird. Inhale, reach up through the crown of the head, and exhale, fold into your humbled warrior. Keep some of that strength, some of that energy down through your back foot. So you've got a nice, powerful foundation that deepens your forward fold. With the next inhale, press into the feet. Use the core to rise. Releasing the hands, bringing hands to hips as you lengthen that front leg. Inhale, find extra length up through the crown of the head. And then we'll exhale to begin to hinge forward from the hips, folding with a flat back to start. Keeping that length, keeping that strong foundation. Really building that sensation in the legs. Stay with your breath. And then option to stay here or around the spine, coming all the way into your pyramid pose, finding props under the hands or grabbing onto the leg. Notice if you've lost connection with your back foot and if that left hip has started to go on a vacation off to the side. See if you can rein it back in so that it's friends again with your other hip. So we've got a nice little hip package facing forward. With the next inhale, step that back foot forward, finding your standing forward fold. Let the crown of the head hang. Maybe bend one knee and then the other, finding some movement here. Taking time to scan through the body, noticing any sensations that you might be experiencing. And then with the next exhale, let's take the hands to the floor and step back to a plank pose. You can always modify your plank by bringing the knees to the floor. You're going to spend 3 rounds of breath here. Really draw that low belly in and up. The breath is nice and strong. On your third exhale, send the tailbone up and back for downward dog, or choose child's pose instead if that serves you better. With the next inhale, let's walk the feet forward to meet the hands. See if you can keep the legs straight as you walk forward. A nice little stretch there. Good. And then from here, let's inhale halfway up, lengthen the spine. Exhale, fold. And inhale, grounding down through the feet, rise all the way up, reaching the arms out and up. And exhale, hands to heart center. And then relax by your side. Let's find 2 blocks towards the front of the mat, or books, or upside down bowls if that's what you have available. Whatever you've got. Something to raise the floor up to you. So we're going to inhale, reach the arms out and up. And exhale, find a forward fold, bringing your hands to your props. And then we're going to step the right foot back to create a lunge. So those blocks can come to either side of that front foot. We've got a nice foundation here. So let's energetically engage the legs as if you could scrunch your mat up with your feet. So your feet are trying to get back together with one another. And as you energize the legs in this way, you'll hopefully start to feel that pelvic floor and low belly lift and engage as if the whole body could just float up. So we're going to press into the blocks, press into the feet, and then on the exhale, we're going to start to straighten that front leg. Inhale, bending the front leg forward. So we've got props here to use. You may find that you're good on the floor. Or if the props aren't quite sufficient, you can always bring your hands to the top of your thigh. Continuing to flow with your breath. Beautiful. Next time you inhale forward into that lunge, we're going to pause there. Option to take the back knee down to the mat. And then we're going to inhale, lift the arms up for crescent lunge. Good. Exhale the hands to heart center. And then we're going to find a twist over that front leg. Option to hook the elbow, although you don't need to. You can keep your twist upright if you'd like. And then reach through the crown of the head. So you want to keep that extension through the spine, through the back of the neck. Press the palms into one another to create space between the collarbones and across the front body. Gently hugging the low belly in to deepen the twist. With the next inhale, release your twist. And then exhale the hands to your blocks. If the back knee is still up, lower it to the mat. And we're going to shift the hips back until that front leg straightens out. You can take your blocks with you if you'd like. Working this half Hanuman, half monkey pose here. So, a couple of variations that you can work with here. You can gently turn the toes from side to side. This will shift your sensation across the different parts of the hamstring on the back of the thigh, so that can feel really good. Or, if you'd like to, you can gently gas pedal the foot as if you were pressing and releasing a gas pedal to gently adjust and play with that sensation through the leg. Or if stillness works best for you here, then feel free to play with that. With the next exhale, we're going to work back to tabletop, so shifting that left knee back to meet the right, and then curling the toes under and finding downward dog or shifting to child's pose if you prefer. Taking a moment here to scan through the body, noticing sensations, finding any gentle movements that feel good to you. From wherever you are, with the next inhale, we're going to start to make our way back into a standing forward fold at the front of the mat. Once you arrive, take an inhale to come up halfway, lengthening the spine. Exhale, fold. And then inhale, reach the arms out and up to standing. And exhale the hands to heart center. Inhale, reach the arms out and up. Exhale, find your forward fold. Bringing the hands to your blocks or whatever props you have here for you. And we're stepping the left leg back this time. Awesome. All right, so we're going to create that foundation of our lunge here. So creating a nice firm contact underneath your hands and underneath your feet. And then energetically engaging the legs towards one another as if you could scrunch up your mat with your feet, feeling that gentle lift and rise in the mid-body. So from here, we're going to start to flow with the breath. On the exhale, lengthening that front leg, sending the hips back, and inhaling forward into your lunge. Using the props, adjusting so that you have enough space to create this movement. And if your props don't offer you enough space, again, there's always that option to take your hands to your legs somewhere for support. Next time we inhale forward into that lunge, let's pause there. And then use the next inhale to lift the arms, option to take that back knee down, finding your crescent lunge. And then exhaling the hands to heart center, twisting over that front leg, so over to the right. Option to hook that elbow, but it's just an option. You can take this twist wherever you need it to be. Pressing the palms into one another to create space, between the collarbones, between the shoulders, really opening up that front body as much as you can, using the breath here. Beautiful. With the next inhale, release your twist back to center. Exhale the hands down to the floor or your blocks, and then we'll take the back knee down if it's still up, and shift the hips back for that half Hanuman pose, half splits, adjusting the props as needed so that you can feel supported here in this hamstring stretch. And then choose to play with your variations here, either tipping the toes from side to side or pretending you've got a gas pedal under your foot. And just notice as you play by moving the foot around, how does that shift the sensation through the back of the leg, even up through the hip? With the next exhale, we're going to shift that knee back to meet the other for tabletop. And then option to soften into child's pose or take a downward dog. Whatever your body needs here to rest and recover from those deep hamstring stretches. And eventually we'll all meet in child's pose. Adjusting the knees a little bit wider until you find some gentle sensation in the thighs and hips. And then with the next exhale, we're going to walk the hands and the upper body over to the right, finding a nice side body stretch from child's pose. And think about inviting the breath into your left rib cage so that with each inhale, you're creating space through that side body, deepening the sensation and the stretch. Use the next inhale to gently walk your way back to center, and use the next exhale to walk to the other side. Now inviting that breath into the right rib cage, inviting space all through that right side body. With the next inhale, walk your way back to center. And then from here, you're going to make your way all the way onto your back, whatever way works best for you. Once you arrive, hug the knees in towards your chest. Make sure that you have all your Shavasana props nearby, that you've put your sweatshirt or your socks back on if you are cold. We're not quite at Shavasana time, but we are moving in that direction, so we want to be prepared so that once you're down on the mat, you don't have to get up again. And then we're going to, with both knees hugged in towards the chest. Actually, let's just keep the right knee hugged in towards the chest. So we'll take the left foot to the mat, hugging the right knee in. That left leg can relax straight on the mat or it can stay bent, whichever is more comfortable. Create a little tension here, really hugging that knee in towards the chest. So we're creating a little stretch through the hip, Breathing into that compression. And maybe you find that you'd like to shift it out to the side and hug it more into the armpit than into the chest, and notice how that adjustment feels. And then we're going to take that right ankle across the top of the left knee for a figure 4, letting that right knee fall out to the side. And then we're going to bend the bottom leg, if you'd like, bringing the foot to the floor. And then from here, we're going to work into a twist. So the whole leg package is going to gently tip over to the left. You can find a prop underneath the leg if this is too much sensation so that it lessens the depth of your twist. The arms can relax out to the sides or relax the hands on your rib cage if that's more comfortable. And maybe the head turns to look over the right shoulder, but only if that feels good for the neck. Gently scanning through the body to notice if you're gripping or holding on to those spaces. Just reminding them that we are a friend of gravity right now, and we can relax into this space, softening and releasing tension, releasing discomfort. With the next exhale, let's slowly and gently guide the knees back in towards the chest. Taking a moment with both knees hugged in towards the chest for any gentle movement that feels good. And then we're going to switch sides, keeping the left knee hugged in, relaxing the right leg to the mat, either bent or straight, and starting to create some gentle compression. So really hugging that knee in towards the chest. Breathing into that compression. And then maybe taking the option of shifting that knee more out to the side towards the armpit, creating a slightly different sensation here. With the next inhale, gently release and bring that ankle across the top of the extended knee, finding that figure 4. And then from here, bending the bottom leg, bringing the foot to the mat. And we'll start to tip this over to the right, finding that twist. And of course, if a different variation of twist works better for you, feel free to take that. Find any props and variations that serve you. And then settle into the shape, settle into the breath. With each exhale, beginning to release and let go of any attachments that you have to your practice, any judgments that you have about your practice. It's all a journey. Our practice is never the destination. So let go what is done and enjoy what is now. With the next exhale, begin to bring the knees back in towards the chest, finding some gentle movement here that feels good. Maybe a happy baby or some gentle circles. Just taking a little time to play, listening to your body. What is it asking for right now? Is it movement? Is it stillness? And then we'll bring the soles of the feet to the mat. The knees will be bent, setting up for a flowing bridge pose. So relaxing the arms by your sides, bringing your awareness into the soles of your feet, grounding down through the big toe mounds, the pinky toe mounds, and the center of each heel. And then flowing with the breath on the inhale, starting to gently lift the hips up. On the exhale, lowering back down. Thinking about lifting and lowering one vertebrae at a time. Getting a nice massage along the length of the spine as you flow with your breath. And then if your neck and shoulders feel fully supported in this flow and you'd like to bring some of the focus of this pose into the upper back, with each inhale as you lift the hips, take the arms up towards the floor overhead. And as you exhale, everything will lower together, or you can leave the arms overhead if you prefer. And just notice how this shifts the sensation of the pose. Take it or leave it. This is your time. This is your practice. Taking one or two more rounds. Whenever you're done, pausing in stillness with the hips and arms lowered to the mat. And then shifting the feet out towards the edges of your mat from left to right. And gently windshield wipering the knees from side to side, massaging and releasing the hips and low back. And just taking a little time here to notice any sensations and experiences coming from your body. With the next exhale, guide the knees back in towards the chest. Finding any last gentle movement here that feels good. Maybe another happy baby. Maybe a little playful rock from side to side. Taking time to enjoy being in your body. Being accepting and loving of even the parts of your body that didn't want to comply with your practice today or still feel a little crunchy, just sending the love there, knowing that you're working with what you've got. And by sending love, you are sending healing, you are sending positive energy into your body where it most needs it. When you're ready, begin to make your way into your Shavasana, finding any props that serve you. My favorite offering is always a bolster underneath the knees to release any pulling or tension from the low back. Covering up with a blanket, getting nice and cozy. Maya has a blanket roll underneath the neck for extra support, as well as a secondary bolster underneath the calves for a nice, gentle, soft inversion of the lifted legs. Take your time to adjust and make any little movements that you need to become comfortable. And then gently work your way into stillness. With each exhale, letting go of anything that is not serving you in this moment, so that you can allow yourself to just be here, fully supported and fully relaxed, for the next few minutes. Begin to deepen your breath, noticing each inhale and each exhale. Begin to invite gentle movement into the fingers and the toes. Circle the wrists and the ankles. Gently turn the head from side to side. Eventually hugging the knees in towards the chest, making your way into a fetal position on one side, and then rising to a comfortable seat. Allowing the eyes to close or the gaze to soften once you arrive. Letting the palms come to touch at heart center with the thumbs towards the sternum. Taking a moment here just to enjoy the flow of your breath, the space you have created in your body with your practice, filled with your life force, that prana energy. And we'll seal class with the sound of one Om. Feel free to join in from wherever you are or just listen to the sound. We'll take a full exhale and then inhale to prepare. Though we may be far apart, we are all connected as one. Thank you for joining us today in this practice. Namaste.